From the ashes of struggle, the people rise. Reggae is the voice and liberation is the prize. That is a quote from yours truly. Now this quote addresses one of the main reasons I created Hippie-Fari. The beautiful life-changing message of reggae music. It was created for social change, and its message is as strong today as it was in the 60s when the first reggae records were released in Jamaica. So welcome to another episode of Hippie-Fari Reggae Radio and Podcast, recorded live in the Omen Honey Studios in beautiful Daytona Beach, Florida. I am your host, Scotty the High-Strong Hippie, and Hippie-Fari is a podcast where we discuss all things reggae. So if reggae music is your thing, you're definitely in the right place. We're still doing that free t-shirt and sticker giveaway. Go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, download any episode, send me a screenshot at hippiefarreggae@gmail.com, and I'll pick a winner. Alright, now tonight we have definitely a special guest in the studio. From his successful IG page to his fire interviews with some amazing reggae artists. And I have to kind of stop right there. I saw an awesome interview I really liked, and I have to know this. It was with Nathan Aurora.
Yeah.
Now, were you more of a Ayaterra guy or an Aurora Wave guy, or both?
Well, yeah, I'm a huge Ayaterra fan. Love Ayaterra so much, So obviously when the news came out, and you didn't know where everyone was going to go, that hit me just as much as it hit a lot of other fans. But
sure,
glad to see him doing his thing, and glad some of them are together. And keep rocking. And now the sound they got now is insane. And I grew up loving some new metal and hip hop and stuff, and definitely some rock and Linkin Park. And so it's cool to see that in the reggae world right now, which was something I don't think any of us expected.
Sure. Yeah. Me and my wife talk about it once. We're like, damn, miss Ayaterra, man. You know what I mean? It just, obviously we still listen to them, but it was definitely a shame, man, because they were a lot of people's favorite, man. So, but no, it's definitely good to see him grinding. Aurora Wave literally started and boom, man, they're crushing it.
Yeah,
so it's a beautiful
explode.
thing. So now kind of back to your introduction. You definitely covered a lot of festivals, been in the face of some dope artists. So I'm talking about a dude that we call the Reggae Plug. So what's up, bro? How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? Thank you so much, Scotty. I truly appreciate you having me on.
100%, man. A lot of podcasts, they'll just do artists and things like that. I like to talk to the people that are kind of doing, or kind of want to do the same thing I do. Like the people that are out there doing the research, the people that are out there at the shows, talking to the people. I think that's very fascinating. And I have a lot to learn, and I feel like I definitely learn a lot from folks like you. So definitely thank you for that page, man. It's definitely awesome. It's like reggae news, which is a great thing.
Thank you. I mean, I had no idea what it would be. It was a silly idea in the beginning, just start posting stuff and videos and posters. I had no idea what I was doing in the beginning, And
I feel you.
Yeah. No, that's how. I mean, it's organic. Everything's been organic for me. It's the grassroots style, just the ear to the ground. I love this music so much. Whether I was doing this page or not, I'd be listening to it 24/7, which I do. So it's fun to just add a little bit of myself. And for the first year and a half, maybe year and a half for sure, I never even show my face. And
right.
I just kind of was like hiding in the shadows, and because I didn't know if it was corny or not. And, but no, once we got to the point where had enough. I'm not say a following, but enough where I'm like, I think maybe it is time to at least I could recognize people at shows and stuff. And if I want the page to grow, people got to be able to recognize me a little bit.
Amen.
I'm nothing special, but I still would like to meet some of the people that that like to post and support me, because without all the followers and people actually into the stuff that I'm doing, I'd be nothing.
Yeah. Well, I think it's absolutely incredible. That's why I wanted you on, because I want everybody that listens to this to go to the Reggae Plug on Instagram and check out your page. Like I said, it's it's like reggae news. You know what I mean? You'll report on the festivals, new releases, some really cool interviews. And you know, I know I should be getting to the questions, but like I said, it's fascinating. I was really stoked to have you
No,
on.
no, that's a riff. I love it.
So, do you like apply for like media? Is that how you get in, or do you just kind of sneak back in and kind of grab the
No,
artist?
I promise to anyone watching this, I've never just snuck anywhere.
I'm just messing with
No, yeah, definitely just apply for
you.
media stuff. When I first started, I had I knew like a couple people, but I was doing a lot of writing with the peer and stuff like that. So a lot of it just came through them, and then as the connections grew, it kind of gave me the connections to be able to apply for myself, reach out to the artist or the manager or whoever I know from that camp. Now I'm doing more of my stuff with Root Fire, so same thing. Like when I went to Reggae Rise Up, it was all through Root Fire. So
I work
yeah,
for
it's
Root
always
Fire
done the
too. That's
official
cool,
way.
man. Yeah, I make find shows that are happening in my area, throw them on the calendar. Yeah, I just started working with Root Fire a couple of weeks ago. It's cool. I love Glen
Great
Allen.
guys, great girls,
Yeah,
great
man.
company. Like, and the East Coast where I am, it was a little tough sometimes with the peer time zone stuff and meetings and things like that. But love to the peer. Grew
That's
up in
awesome.
the scene with them pretty much putting me onto all the music. I'd get the CDs from the peer back in the day and all that. They would send the burnt mixed CDs of songs you've never heard before,
Yeah, I
and you
heard.
get that. And yeah, so it's I think I think like all as many pages as we can have things like this, like it's just gonna help everybody. I don't think of anything that's like competition or
No, hell
anything
no.
that's like got to do better than this or that. I take inspiration from all of them and just put my own little thing on it.
Hey man, yeah, it's definitely about a community. I always close my podcast with this quote, but strengthen unity, build your community. Um,
Love it.
yeah, definitely not competition. It's everybody should be out there working together. You know what I mean? That's
Hmm.
that's that's the point, man. Reggae music was for revolution, but it was to bring people together for a reason. So
Yeah,
I think it still has that power. So
I
it's
think so
well,
too.
actually, I don't think I know for a fact it does.
Yeah, you're right.
But once again, like I said, I definitely love what you do. Keep doing it. That's why I'm glad to have you on, and definitely excited to get into the questions. So why don't you go ahead and tell us kind of where you're from originally, and what kind of music did you grow up listening to?
I'm born and raised in New Jersey. I live here now still. Grew up with hip hop, and obviously a lot of rock. Well, I should actually let's backtrack all the way to the beginning. The religion of my family is Billy Joel.
Okay.
That's like that's my first love of music. That's when I was like, wow, I love music. Not just like I like listening to music, like I love music.
Amen.
And it went from there to a bunch of other rocks. I love the Doors. I love Pink Floyd. A lot of psychedelic rock bands, obviously. But then as middle school came on, stuff hip hop took over.
Yeah.
Eminem, DMX was huge for me. Yeah, and that kind of just went into like the new metal. Also,
Yeah.
huge Limp Bizkit fan, huge Korn fan.
Nice.
And then as I got older, I found Kid Cudi, who is my absolute goat. No matter how much reggae I do, no matter how I'll be the Kid Cudi plug before anything.
Right on.
Yeah, for sure. But and always had the roots there. Obviously, everyone knows Bob Marley,
100%.
Horace Andy. I love Horace Andy. But it really was like probably that 2009, 2010 time when I found the Dirty Heads.
Ah,
And
right on.
that just exploded everything. Or that's the reason we're talking right now.
No, sure. So that's basically when reggae first grabbed your attention, kind of. Do you
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
like
yeah.
the first song by the Dirty Heads where you were like, "Holy shit, this is it, man"?
I mean, it was probably Lay Me Down because that was early for
Hmm.
it. But it was that and Taint off Any Port in a Storm.
Nice. Right on, man. Yeah, for me it was a lot of people, Bob Marley, definitely Bob Marley. My mom had the Legend CD, but it was Peter Tosh. I grew up surfing, and uh, my memories of reggae music riding to the beach in my buddy Jason's truck, and we had Peter Tosh Legalize a cassette tape, and we played
Hmm.
that thing, dude, non-stop. I absolutely loved it. You know what I mean? I loved punk rock, but a lot of my buddies were like, punk amps you up before surfing. I was like, just reggae always did, man. It's chill, but it's still
Oh
still
yeah,
to this
no,
day,
it's got the
definitely amps
punk in
me up,
there.
man.
It always will.
100%. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing about it, man. So, Was there like a specific moment or like a festival that you were at where you kind of decided that you wanted to make reggae like an actual part of your life? You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, for sure. I
okay,
mean, it slowly, it was a slow burn for a long time.
sure.
You know, little by little, finding out new bands. Obviously, started with Dirty Heads, and that just, you know, spider webbed, or in their case, octopus legged
No,
out into everything.
right.
And but for, as far as like the page and like you know, wanting to do something more, and just trying to just get you know, any kind of information I can out to whoever will listen. It was
Amen.
closer to the Suns, you know, Slightly Stupid's festival in 2022. When I came home, I was just like, you know, I had all these videos, I had everything that I took while I was there, and I'm like, what can I do with these videos instead of just posting them on my regular page? So
Yep.
that was kind of the birth of the Reggae Plug page.
That's beautiful, man. So you got to go to Closer to the Sun. That's dope. Never been. Would always love to go.
You know,
Um,
you have to. It's the best. You know, you can't beat that. That's the best time on earth.
yeah, 100%. My friend Crystal goes every year, and you know, of course, she's like, "You got to go." I'm like, "Well, I know, you know."
Hmm.
Absolutely, that's definitely like a bucket list for us, man.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
so, is that like going to that Closer to the Sun and coming back with all your videos and stuff? So that's kind of what like inspired you to start Reggae Plug. You know, you were like, I
Yeah,
don't want to just kind of throw this on my personal page and get lost in the shuffle. I want to
yeah,
show
yeah, for
people what
sure.
I'm doing and kind of educate them on what happened, and that's kind
Yeah.
of where.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, when that started, a lot of real small bands, you know, from all over the country, you know, would be the ones starting to follow first and sending me stuff. So I started promoting them, and no matter how big the page gets or does or doesn't or whatever, like at the core of it is taking smaller bands who don't have all the ears and getting more ears on them. Like that's my favorite
100%.
thing. That'll always be my favorite thing of the page. Like
Yep.
finding a new band. Like, how many times can I, you know, listen to all my favorite bands anyway? I love getting that new band that I'm like, holy I don't know if I can curse on here.
Oh hell yeah.
Holy holy shit, you know, like this band is incredible. Like now they're in my daily rotation and stuff like that. So like if you're listening to this and you're a band that's trying to get ears, please, please, please send things my way.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I love finding new reggae music. You know what I mean? And then it's cool to me because I'll hear bands and I'm so surprised that they're like not playing these massive festivals. Like, have you ever heard of
Preach.
Nine to Fire before?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
they're I mean amazing to me. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
I
They
agree.
got
I
that kind
agree.
of
Shout
rich
them
reggae
out
sound.
right now.
They're very good, but like in my opinion, they are that kind of material. But there's a lot of people that have never heard of them before.
No, yeah,
So
for sure.
but,
And that's one of many on this countless list, you know. But that's we're lucky that our scene is small. But you know, when you're one of the smaller bands, it's still huge. You know, it's still
yeah,
hard
100%.
to break through and get that mold. I mean, I play in a local New Jersey band here. You know, playing this kind of music, the reggae, rock, hip hop kind of.
You do?
Oh yeah,
What's your band name?
it's called Waylaid.
Right on.
It's
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like
Well, can you? Do you have any social media or?
yeah, at Waylaid_music.
So spell that real quick.
WAYLAID.
Perfect.
Waylaid
Okay, cool. Awesome, man. I'll
underscore
definitely check it out.
music. Yeah, no, we're kind of like Dirty Heads, 311, a lot of hip hop and reggae in there.
What instrument did you say that you played or?
I just rap in the group.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah,
Right on. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check you guys out, man. I love that.
appreciate it, appreciate it.
I'll have you back on the show to I'll have your band back on the show. That'd be great,
Yeah,
man.
hey, I'll get our drummer or get our lead singer. We'd
That's
love to.
awesome, man. So the early days of Reggae Plug. I know you said it was like the smaller bands and stuff like that. Was it like something you were consistently doing, or just
Hmm.
once in a while you would like make a poster or drop, or was it like just constant
No,
material all
I
the
pretty
time?
much got consistent from the beginning. You know,
Nice.
I would go here and there. You know, if work or life, you know, that's always going to be first. So if anything like that came up, and you know, I'd at least try like, all right, I don't have a post for a little bit, but let me just always throw up some stories, even if it's just sharing something, sharing the posters or whatever.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, like I just didn't know what I was doing, and
I hear you.
I had like 45 followers. It's actually a pretty good story, and I'll tell it to anyone who will listen, because it kind of gave me the drive. So I
Hell
was
yeah.
consistent for a little bit, a couple months in. and like 45 followers and like 2 likes and a comment or something, the drill. And
I
out of
do.
nowhere, K-Bong messaged me and is like, this is great. This is what we need. This is what the scene needs. Keep it up. A bunch of emojis, and I'm like, holy shit,
Wow, that's pretty dope.
like K-Bong, and follow. It doesn't follow. If you're seeing this, K-Bong, please follow me because it's been a long time.
Right.
No. And that's actually the first time I've ever asked, even though I don't know if he'll see it or not. I'll send it to him. But I don't ask the bands to follow me. I want
Sure,
them to follow
sure.
me because they want to. The fans in the crowd, anything like that, I'm gonna ask you every single time I see you. I'm gonna give you a sticker. It's got the @ on it, But no, when you sent that, I was like, all right, you're right. This is what we need, So that was something crazy that happened in the beginning that kind of gave a little more emphasis on what I'm doing.
Nice. So that's kind of when you realized that the Reggae Plug was actually growing into something
Well, no,
kind of
it
bigger.
was still nothing for a while after that,
Oh,
but it
okay.
just gave me a little fire,
Sure.
underneath. Just that, private DM that, was nothing, but to me it was like, all right,
No, that's definitely a
let's
big
put a
deal.
little
That would be
more,
awesome.
twist on this.
Right on. So, when was kind of that defining moment when you realized that it was actually bigger than maybe you thought?
Well, the first like real big thing that happened with the page was getting to do media at Red Rocks. Not last
Nice.
summer, the summer before. It was like the slightly stupid weekend that they had, 2 weekends 2 days in a row, and that was like my first like crazy media pass that I got. Besides like a couple of small shows, and I'm like, all right, I was intimidated, even just like walking
100%, man.
around because I got let in a little early on the second day, so I watched like the elevators do their sound check. Um, and I was like a couple family members and me in the crowd, and I was intimidated walking around.
You're
I'm
a
like,
great man. I
am I
love it.
supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be
Yeah,
here? Am I going anywhere I'm not
right?
supposed to be? Like, because I always want to be professional. I still always do.
Sure.
I never want to, have a bad rep from me. I'm there for only good things. So make sure it's always, looked at that way as well.
That's absolutely that's definitely important, man. Carrying yourself, professionally, because do something stupid at one event, people.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean,
So,
like I said, the world, the scene is small.
sure.
Nowhere to travel, but I don't really tend to do unprofessional things. So,
That's awesome, man. Oh, I do, but definitely not in
oh
public.
yeah, no, yeah. So I'm just fun and I'm respectful about it.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Without a doubt, man. So, if anybody's been to your page, they can see that you've definitely had a bunch of incredible artists that you've done interviews with. If you don't mind, like, what's been one of your favorite interviews so far, and why?
Well, I mean, truly, the two that I have on my page, those are the only two I've ever done yet.
Okay,
And they were both done at Reggae Rise Up.
all
Like
right,
I said, like really, like the last half a year, maybe a little more, is the only time that I've been, actually, it's probably since November was like maybe the first time I like showed my face on there. So I was never doing interviews or any kind of stories where I'm talking about anything like that. I would just write my articles, take the pictures, take the videos, make the reels, but it was all without me in it. A couple times I like stuck myself into the reel, maybe dancing with my wife or something like that. But
right,
no one would know. You just think I'm a fan.
yeah,
Um, so those two interviews are my only ones. I did the one with Nathan,
yep.
and then I did one with Dale, and they were both 2 different days at
Sounds good.
Reggae
Yep,
Rise
yep.
Up.
Cool.
And I can't, between those two, those are both my boys. I can't pick, which
That's
one's
yeah, no, I hear
one
you,
more
bro.
my favorite. It was
Yeah,
two different things. The Nate interview was kind of like this, like an uncut podcast style, just
yeah,
talking about some things. I had some questions ready and everything like that. And then the Nate one, and then the Dale one was just freaking
yeah.
madness. It was, I used like maybe a minute and 10 of it, but trust me, you guys can't see the other 19 minutes of footage
Right.
that we had.
That's awesome, man. So
But
yeah,
it's,
that's really cool, man. And I'm sitting here, like I said, I've been on your page and I'm talking to you, and I'm still trying to kind of like to wrap my head around it, because you're not a podcast. You're your own thing, man. That's
yeah, I
pretty
mean,
dope.
everyone always asks, like, are you a podcast? And I'm like, no, I'm not, but I guess maybe I will be, or maybe I should be, or something,
Yeah, absolutely.
But like everything else I've done since this page started, like, I don't know how to do anything.
There's a
The
million
only thing I know how
podcasts
to
out
do
there,
that I
man.
do on this page is write. I've been writing forever. whether it was songs or even like school. Like, writing was always good. I always loved it. Yeah, I got kind of
Yes.
lost in it. So that's the only thing I haven't faked till I made. But like everything else, I'm just going with the flow and learning as I do it. And so maybe podcast one day. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's and I'm happy that you think that. I didn't kind of never even thought that, like doing my own thing.
Well, no, I mean you totally are. Like I said, as I sit here, there's not really something to describe. I mean, like media, like reggae media, I guess. You know what I mean?
Media outlet.
Yeah, you're kind of covering the whole gamut. And to kind of get back to what you said, I definitely relate with you, man. I sucked at math. I was terrible at a lot of things in school, but writing and English was I loved it, man. Absolutely loved it. So I think that's why I like doing the podcast. I kind of research the artists, write about them, that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, I'll have to hit you up for the podcast tips if I get to that point.
Well, you should co-host one with me one day. That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
100%, man.
For sure. I mean, this is my this is my first podcast I've been on also, so
Nice.
this is new. It's kind of cool. I feel, I'm like, oh, this is nice. I listen to podcasts literally all the time, so
Sure.
it would only make sense to one day have it. That's why like my old logo was just like some logo I made on a logo maker thing, and it had like a microphone on it.
Right.
They were like, "Oh, you're a podcast. You're a podcast. You're a podcast." I'm like, "I gotta change that. I gotta get that microphone there." So now it's the plug. Now it makes more sense that the plug's there, but now the plug's in the place of the microphone.
That's awesome. Yeah, mine's the microphone.
Yeah. No, as it should be.
But yeah, it's just very simple. You know what I mean? In the red, gold, and green colors, so people can kind of figure out. That's a reggae podcast, but yeah, man, that's really cool, dude. Definitely awesome. So, do you have like maybe a kind of a dream interview or a specific artist that you're kind of like targeting that you hope to lock in?
No, I mean dream interview. Like I said, to go with the flow so much that I've never even thought of that question.
Right.
Like for myself, I mean, like one of my favorite, if not the Elevators are my favorite band.
Love the Elevators, man.
Just like probably a lot of people, obviously Jackson would be dope. Nick and Greg, I'm pretty cool with. To have one of those guys would be great. I mean, hey, if we're talking dream and we're talking about where this all started from, it started the Dirty Heads. So Duddy or Jared, one of them maybe would be the dream. Might be a little too big for me, but I'll work my way up.
Yeah. You brought up the Elevators a couple of times. Their growth over the past years has been absolutely amazing. I remember seeing them with my wife and my buddy Mikey. They opened for Tribal Seeds. It was a little bit before Reggae Rise Up. I think 4 years ago, right, babe? Was it like 4? Yeah, about 4 years ago. And we got to the show early. Went to the restaurant right across the street from the venue. John was sitting there just eating. Whatever. Said, "What's up, man?" Took a picture with him. And they played to about 80 people were there, for them opening. And now that's definitely not the case.
Yeah. Skyrocket to the moon, literally. And they're such nice dudes, so humble.
Oh, they are, bro.
Nothing that they're going through is getting to their heads.
Yep.
I mean, you can say that about so many bands too. Well, let's not single them out and just say like these guys are great and no one else is. But the meteoric rise that they're getting right now is
a good example.
It's insane, and they're just staying the same people. I mean, like I'll do a shameless plug right now. My band in 2016 opened for it was us, it was them, and Roots of Creation. Roots of Creation's the headliner, and we pretty much all played to each other.
Right.
The bands or the crowd with a couple locals and some of our family from being in. It was a Jersey show.
Yeah.
So like from that, met a couple of them that night, and it was like they're the same, which is like so cool about them. That's
awesome, dude. With the Elevators, I mean, obviously they are just pure talent, 100%. But their management is absolutely fantastic too. Reed from Root Fire, Reed Foster.
Oh yeah. Yeah, what a good guy.
Yes, and he knows what he's doing, man. He's extremely intelligent. I've had a couple of talks with him, and I love picking his brain, man. The guy's
same. I've only talked to him a couple of times. Met him for the first time at Reggae Rise Up, and so nice. And just everything I've heard about him is like so hardworking, so driven. I mean, look at his two bands, the Movement and the Elevators.
Yeah, exactly.
What more could you ask for?
And he does root fire. Yeah, that's all
Hmm.
volunteer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
sweet.
Like what this community is about is kind of,
Amen.
emphasizes root fire.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, for people that are listening who aren't familiar, definitely check out Root Fire. It's the epitome of underground reggae. Their release radar is fantastic. They have awesome interviews. They have awesome podcasts, awesome blog. From start to finish, it's just absolutely fantastic organization. So,
Agree.
uh, how do you like prep for an interview? Because you know, you knew that you were going to the festival. You knew you had a
Hmm.
media pass. Did
Hmm.
you know, do like a lot of research on Nathan,
Yeah,
beforehand,
well, I've
or
just
just kind
been a fan, for so long, so I knew some stuff that I'd want to ask and things like that. Dale, I was talking to him before, so I had them two, and then I had something lined up with Chopadelic too, but that was the last day
of okay,
where all the weather went crazy, and we were still trying to squeeze it. I'm like, don't squeeze it. Go do your thing. You guys have, literally more important things to do, like figuring out time frames and stuff like that. So
right,
I had questions for all three of those bands ready to roll, and then the Nate one was crazy because I was just meeting him and I was very nervous. That was gonna be my first interview. The
right,
Dale one, Dale is my boy. I, hung out with him a bunch of times, seen him. We talk all the time online and stuff. So that was more just like I had my questions, but also even if I didn't, we would be fine. And actually, no, I didn't bring my questions when we
right.
had, and I remembered a couple of them, but that was just more like let's just hang out kind of thing. But Trop, I've been such a fan of them too, also. So I had my questions ready for them. Unfortunately, that one didn't work. We'll get it, another day. But yeah, it was just think about some things that maybe they don't get asked,
Yes,
by other people. Like obviously I didn't do the research specifically to like watch other things they're on. I probably would have already seen it anyway. I'm like my ear's so low to the ground in the scene that if they're going
heard.
to be on something, an interview, podcast, something like that, pretty much whoever it is, I would have probably watched it. So I wanted to keep my questions, a little personal, a little more like if like with Dale, we already have a relationship, so things that we've already talked about, things like that. Let them plug their stuff. Try to get a sneak peek of what's going on, what they have coming out. But yeah, definitely, research going in instead of on the fly. But it was intimidating for the first time. Can't
Uh,
lie.
yes, absolutely, 100%. I still, yeah, I play percussion in a reggae band. I do the podcast, and even though the
Awesome.
podcast isn't
What's your
live.
band? You got to shout yours out too. I mean,
Well,
talking.
Smyrna Herb, we are, it's us, a local New Smyrna Beach Daytona duo.
Nice.
I was playing for Vibes Farm, they're a South Florida band, but a lot of the shows were like 3.5 hours away. So
Yeah.
after a while, driving 3.5 hours there, doing the show for 3 hours, it was a 10-hour day. It got pretty difficult, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But
Yep.
I play with Smyrna Herb now, and Vibes Farm's actually playing at a festival that I'm going to this weekend, so I'm going to be hopping up on stage with them. So a lot of fun. Check out Vibes Farm. They're really good, man. The lead singer,
Definitely
lead
will.
guitar player Tyler Giddens is amazing on the guitar, bro. He just absolutely crushes it. He brings that rock element in, but still
Yeah.
keeps that roots
That's
reggae
what I'm
vibe.
talking about. The new bands. Tell me them all. I got to switch it up a little bit. I listen to the same, 200 songs over and over again for years.
Absolutely, I would love to, man. My favorite, like for my search, I guess. I am into the mid '70s roots reggae.
Hmm. Yeah.
The earlier stuff too, but I love kind of how it developed in the beginning of the '70s, and then kind of got in the mid '70s. But I'm still, I mean, there's thousands and thousands of artists, you know what I mean? Roots reggae artists in that time period that only maybe did one song or only cut one
Hmm.
record. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love finding that, but I definitely love the new stuff too. But I like it to have that, still kind of have that roots reggae vibe.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Um,
for sure. My page definitely leans more reggae rock, American reggae, whatever you want to call it, adjacent. But yeah, I love the you throw the roots on, especially for a nice little smoke session,
oh
hanging out.
yeah,
Really, that
yeah,
helped me write a lot too when I was first starting to write in the reggae band that I play in. It wasn't. I didn't want to be like all the other. I didn't want to be in other bands. We kind of molded our what we kind of sound like on the Dirty Heads because I rap, he sings, we
Yeah.
play reggae, you know, so like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of like that and the 311 vibe, things like that. But I'm like, I still want to know, you know, like let's get some history that I don't know. I know the big names, I know the Tosh, I know the Bob Marley, I know the Horace Andys, I know these things. I'm like, let me try to find some other stuff, and that would always help me writing.
That's so awesome, man. Yeah, and that's one of my favorite parts about it is the digging. I use YouTube for a lot of that.
Oh
There's a
yeah,
lot of
because you can see the
vinyl
live
sessions.
performances too. You know, it's like that's like the only place you can see some of these old performing. And that's all genres. You know, that's like my favorite thing for YouTube is watching concerts.
Absolutely, 100%, man. Yeah, I can definitely go down the rabbit hole of YouTube. So,
Yeah, yeah.
you said you keep your ear to the ground. Where do you do your research? Like, what's your favorite place to go to find out what's going on?
I mean, truly Instagram. You know, that's really where I get everything from. And then obviously, you know, through the page and through the time that I've done and the help that I've given some of the bands, you know, I'll get a sneak peek of this or, you know, a wind or some news on something that's coming up or something. And trust me, if you're watching this and you've told me something or you're watching this and you're going to tell me something, that doesn't go anywhere. You know, that stays with me. So please know it's trusted, a trusted source here. We'll keep it safe. Yeah, no, I mean, just truly Instagram. Some of the Facebook groups are great for like just knowing. I'd say Instagram's great to know, keep your ear to like the scene of the bands and the artists. The Facebook groups are kind of like the place to keep your ear to the ground when it comes to like how the fans and how the scene is feeling about things because they'll let you know.
Absolutely, 100%, man. Have you ever thought about taking the plug to Facebook? Or if you have, I feel like an idiot because I don't see it on Facebook.
No, I haven't, so don't. But
Okay, cool.
I haven't brought it there. Not haven't thought about it. I have, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I was like, it's like pick and choose where you want to extend your, you know, stress levels or whatever.
Yeah, and I guess for kind of like what you do, it probably is good, to have one, platform because
Yeah, I mean, maybe
obviously
if I did, it would
essentially
just kind of just be repo. It would
you do
just
repo
do the
exactly.
auto post for, and they would both happen. But also, like my personal page on Facebook is I've been in these Facebook groups now for like years and stuff. So I think it's, I'd rather just kind of keep it with like that's me. Like yes, I'm the Reggae Plug, but no, I'm Stefan. So it's like I think Facebook's more for that.
Sure, yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I actually shared your Instagram page on Facebook today, so
Oh, awesome! Thank you, I appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, definitely think it's a good choice. Instagram is. I wasn't an Instagram dude for a while,
Hmm.
and then I started a reggae-based clothing company, and Instagram's a necessity.
Yeah,
And
for sure. You didn't
it's
do anything like
valuable.
merchandise like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's
If I'm,
definitely
outreach or go somewhere else, I definitely want to get like a YouTube, up and
yes,
running and stuff because I can go back and post all the things that I've had,
yep,
and all the things I never posted. I got
yep,
3 minute, 4 minute long videos that
yes.
obviously I'm not going to post on Instagram, but that would definitely be the route to go, and it'll be good because when I do finally, I think I actually have a YouTube for it, but there's nothing on there.
Yeah,
But when I do, I can flood it because I've got now 3 years of stuff or over two
YouTube is
years.
definitely where it's at. A lot of the podcast
Hmm.
articles I read and stuff. They're like, drop what you're doing, focus on YouTube.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's yeah, it's huge. So it's important, and I guess it's where a lot of people go. It's I found it kind of difficult to get people to subscribe. They'll listen all day.
Yeah,
Get them to click that subscribe button.
yeah.
It's
I
tough.
mean,
You kind of
that's
have to
true. I mean,
drill
even
that
thinking
into
of
people.
myself, I'm like, I watch more than I subscribe.
Sure,
So.
me too. And a lot of times
Yeah,
you're listening on your phone. You're not gonna take your phone, boom, open up,
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So
So if you're listening YouTube, make it easier for people to subscribe, and maybe they'll
yeah,
hear us.
absolutely, 100%, man. But yeah, YouTube definitely valuable. So what's been your favorite festival moment so far? Has it been like actually watching the bands, or has it been doing the interviews, or just vibing in the crowd? Is there like a
Yeah,
specific
I
festival
mean,
moment for you where you're like, this was it?
yeah. Well, if we're talking about favorite moments or whatever, I'm gonna keep going back to Closer to the Sun. And it's
Yeah,
not. I mean, obviously the music's incredible, but like it's hanging out with everybody. You're with people for 4, 5, 6 days in a row, all into the same stuff you're into. My wife's with me there. Like you can't beat that. You can't beat like just the fans hanging out by the pool, listening to reggae or whatever. Obviously the sets are great, but like that's the core of that festival,
the
and
community.
that can't be beaten. Yeah,
Yep.
but everyone always told me Reggae Rise Up Florida was pretty close because and I saw a lot of closer to the sun people there and had that same kind of feeling when I was there. So that was really cool too. But I would say like those are my favorite moments rather than any of the other stuff, any of the interviews. Like that's no. It'll always be hanging out, watching shows with friends.
That's awesome. And yeah, I actually had probably some of the most fun I've ever had interviewing people in the crowd.
Yeah, I saw that. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, the Rise Up 2025.
Yep.
That's a lot of fun, dude.
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess you're just a little bit more comfortable. You can kind of say whatever you want to say, and it just I loved it. Thought it
Yeah, I
a
was
lot
like,
of
I
fun.
need to steal a page of Scotty's book right there. That is a good move.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Like I said, you should definitely come on and co-host a podcast with me one day, man. That would
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool.
that'd
Yeah.
definitely be a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
So I know you definitely keep your ear to the ground. Obviously, you have to for what you do. You're plugging reggae.
I'm
So
gonna do it regardless. That's also why I like the start of the page and the page
exactly.
rolling. Like I'm doing these things no matter what. I'm listening to this music.
Yes.
I care. I'm interested. So that's kind of. But yeah, ear is to the ground for sure.
So what are your thoughts on the current reggae scene? Is there like any bands or anything in particular that you feel like is kind of pushing the genre and forward in the right progressive direction?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a tough question. Like, there's certain things that like I don't get sometimes, and they'll be like, why bands aren't getting more recognition? Kind of like what we touched on earlier. But I'll think of someone like Ballyhoo. Like, why isn't Ballyhoo the biggest band ever? Like sometimes I think like those kind of things will
Right.
cross my mind where I'm like, in that it's whoever. It's the cashed out. And I'm sure you love cashed out being down where you're from.
Oh, 100%.
Yep, yep, yep. But yeah, I mean, it's sometimes you'll see the positive movement message, and then sometimes like the actions behind it, won't actually be there. So yeah, I would like us to come together a little more, and I kind of see that with the fans more than I see that with the bands. But that's like we're gonna go right back to Facebook. Sometimes that's just what Facebook does.
Right. Yeah, it's double-edged sword, man.
Yeah, yeah,
100%.
for sure. Yeah, I'll get amazing, great moments there, and I've read posts on groups that multiple times that have made me cry. Because they're just like unreal. The story that I'm reading in this comment, and then I'll go to the next post and just be more mad than I've ever been ever.
Right.
From someone either bashing someone or there are two people literally bashing each other for no reason. And,
Yeah.
obviously it gets silly, but
Yeah.
a little more unity, as you said.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, it happens. People are people, I guess, But
Hmm.
it's definitely kind of a shame to see sometimes, because you do want reggae to kind of present itself to somebody who might be new to it
Hmm.
as what it was created for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I'm always trying to bring my friends into the scene too, so I
Sure.
don't want to bring them in and they're like, "What is this? You said it was all peace and love."
Yeah, right. It is, but once again,
Oh
I
yeah,
guess
for sure.
there's
I would
knowledge.
say 90% of it is, but
Yes,
people will blow out of proportion to 10%.
and that's all it takes, man. Just
Hmm.
one bad one to you know, kind of make it look goofy. But that's when guys like me and you kind of draw it back in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate that. What
Definitely.
about you though? Like, who, what do you love about what's trying to push it forwards?
Oh, what a band you mean, or
Was that even like your question? I'm sorry if I like answered it wrong. Also, Wait,
no. You did fine. I was saying like if there was any specific like things or bands, that were kind of pushing the genre in the right direction. For
yeah.
me, have you ever heard of Groundation?
Hmm.
Yeah, I just had Harrison Stafford on the
Yeah.
show, and he's a prime example of you know, someone who, in my opinion, who's pushing the genre forward in the right direction. the message always stays consistent. It's quality reggae music. They never really it's every song is different, but it's you know what to expect from Groundation.
Yeah.
They have a fantastic presence, huge following over in Europe, and they definitely do it right.
I want to dive deeper now because of this.
Yes, they are coming out with a new album at the end of this month called Candle Burning. That'll be their
Awesome.
11th album. And cool thing about Groundation, they're a 10-piece band. They have never recorded digitally. They always record live too. So all 10 musicians are in the
Yeah.
studio and they play at the exact same time. No redos.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it's amazing, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's incredible to hear, but you should check out some of their YouTube videos. It's absolutely amazing. So and
Yeah, I'll definitely go down that rabbit hole.
yes, and the message is such a beautiful conscious message. But yeah, I love the way that the scene's going, man. I think it's
Yeah,
awesome.
same. I think like the two powerhouse labels are pushing it. I'm talking about the reggae rock. Like Ineffable and
Ineffable.
Silverback, like those two. And I'm like their teams are so different. Like the bands they have on their lineups are also so different. But Ineffable is like international, bringing all proteges and all
Yes.
these from everywhere, and I love Protege so much.
I was
It's
actually here
great because I
Friday.
catch myself getting stuck in the American reggae rock.
Yeah.
That's all I'll listen to for a while, and then I'm like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I gotta stop this for a little bit, and I gotta expand a little more. Whether my page leans that way, no matter what. But for me, for my soul, for the core of me listening to reggae, I got to make sure. And Ineffable does a great job at bringing them in from everywhere, literally everywhere. And actually, Nathan put me on to a couple other bands, that's from different places and stuff like that. So it's cool. Those connections will lead to other things.
100%, man. And we can give Reed Foster from Root Fire another shout out because he works with Ineffable. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
that's the epitome of a guy who's pushing the scene in the right direction.
yeah, I agree.
Absolutely love it, man. So as far as the music goes, and the new releases, do the bands that you've made connections with kind of let you know when it's coming out, or
Yeah, oh
are you
yeah.
visiting all the radars and finding out what's coming up so you can kind of
Yeah,
talk
a
to Reggie
little of
about it?
both. Some of the ones I'm real close with and that trust me and are comfortable enough, which I think of as a privilege. I thank them, and it is safe with me, like I said. Um, yeah, I get to I get a little glimpse into stuff, whether it is, hey, here's a date, or
Hmm.
here's the album.
That's great.
Listen to it. You can't share it because it's not a copy. The link can't be copied and things like that. Um, so yeah, well, but also it's the radar, the radar release things, especially like ones that Root Fire
Yes.
has, and those kind of sites that might show me a song that I might not have heard on my own, or didn't know that was out yet, or because
Sure.
so much music coming out all the time that things do get lost sometimes. But yeah, I do get a couple that trust me enough to let me get the listen. And there's an album that I've heard recently that is unreal, and people are gonna absolutely love.
That's awesome, dude. Have you ever heard of Reggae Theory?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yep, yeah, I love that
that's a
page.
good one.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody out there listening, yeah, check out Reggae Theory. That's definitely a good
Yep,
one for
yep, please do.
the
That's
new
the homie.
releases and all that kind of stuff. Yep. So
That is the homie.
uh, I know that your band, you said it's like the reggae rock. Are you like really happy with the reggae fusion with all genres? With the EDM, with the heavy metal,
Yes.
with the hip hop.
Yes.
You like it all?
Simple. Hell yeah. I love it. I love how much, like I said, I grew up on hip hop. I love how
Yep.
much hip hop is in our scene. Like little strangers in our
Little
scene.
Stranger.
They're not reggae. They literally
Yeah.
only make a couple of reggae songs a year just to
Yep.
like kind of be reggae, I think.
Yep.
Like they're not reggae at all, but they're just as welcome, just as
Yep.
loved, if not like they're talk about another, band zoom into the top. You have bands like that. You have Joey Harcum, who like
Yep.
sometimes I don't always think of as reggae, but like loved by the
The
scene,
Reese
loved by us,
brothers.
like
Yeah.
one of us. Yeah, Reese Brothers.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's so many that I'm just like, it's all welcomed. I'm happy that people are doing their own uh, twist on whatever, like reggae adjacent, or there'll be like one reggae song on there, the rest of it will be all over the place, and
Right.
you're reggae, you're with us, so you can't
Yeah.
go anywhere. Even like Logan was saying, the new Article sound system was getting some crap from people because they were like, it wasn't reggae enough, but that's you got to push the boundaries. You got to be a creative artist and make what's right for you. And I love it. Sometimes I won't lie. Sometimes I'll hear it and I'm like, I don't know, and then I catch on. And once I get it, once the big picture comes into play, after like a couple singles come out and the album comes out, you're like, all right, I get it now. I listen to the album.
And that's a beautiful thing about reggae music. Either reggae can fit into every genre can fit into reggae. But I mean, even 80s love songs.
It's a little skank in there and everything can be reggae.
Yep, 100%, man. It is what it is, man. Just they were onto something when they created it in the 60s, man. They
sure were.
They definitely did the right thing. It's beautiful, man. So, do you have like a specific song or artist that's been like personally healing to you, or meaningful, that's kind of like maybe gotten you through a certain part of your life? I know for me, Tribal Seeds.
Oh yeah.
Definitely for me, but
yeah, I would say I've had a couple different moments and a couple different bands that have done it throughout the time, but I had Terror when it was going on.
Sure.
And I listen to Terror all the time.
Hell yeah.
There won't be 2 days in a row where I didn't listen. Like maybe one day I don't listen to it, but the next day I'm gonna. The Movement and the Elevators. Yeah. Those three bands, like we're talking about feelings, like getting me through some hard shit.
Yeah.
The Movement is a big piece of that for me.
That's awesome. Yeah. My wife, I love them too, but those are my wife absolutely loves the Movement. And the Elevators. Yeah, we're definitely big fans, but they do throw out that vibe, you know what I mean? Or it's just a feel good, vibe.
If I'm in a bad mood, I'm putting on the Cornerstone by the Elevators. Their first
album. Right on, man.
And I'm lost. I'm gone for 50. I think it's 52 minutes.
That's awesome.
I'm out.
Yeah, you can listen to the whole thing straight through. Yeah, that's great, man. So
that and Rescue by the Movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Rubbatry before?
What was it?
Rubbatry, Rubbahtree. They're in Bend, Oregon.
No.
They have a song called "Call of the Mountain." It might be kind of morbid, but I'm like, that's a song I want played at my funeral. Every time I hear it, I get these goosebumps. It definitely brings like a tear to my eye.
And if I can't think of it right now, but I'm gonna check it out as soon as we get off.
Yeah, it's definitely good stuff, man. It's emotional, and I love that.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna get goosebumps and can get tears in my eyes off music kind of guy, with no shame at all.
Oh yeah, yep, 100%. Me too, and that's why I love music so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's my life.
Yep, amen.
I love so much stuff too. I'm a big sports guy, big everything, but it'll always come back to music.
Absolutely, 100%. That's one thing that's unwavering. If you think about it, like when you were in high school or growing up, or even now, all the cliques are formed based on the kind of music you listen to. You had the rockers, you had the metalheads, you had the punks. You know what I mean? So it's like it really does kind of define who you are as a person, unknowingly.
That's very true.
So, that's definitely awesome. And it definitely sounds like reggae music has kind of changed the way that you see the world.
Yeah, it really has, Obviously, I wasn't, just listening, reenacting everything I heard in hip-hop when I was growing up, but still, it gave me, I think, an edge, which, I was competitive in sports my whole life, so maybe that edge was good. But when I found that reggae, I would say there's a huge life switch that I think people around me kind of even knew. I wouldn't say I was a shithead before, but sometimes, sometimes I still might be, but it's like this scene and this kind of music has changed my life, and for the better and irreversibly.
That's awesome, dude. It's a great community. I absolutely love it. It
That's my favorite thing
like,
about it is the community.
Yeah, feels like home, When I listen to music outside of reggae, I feel like I'm cheating on reggae.
Yeah. No, I still listen to plenty. I still listen to plenty hip hop. I love Tame Impala. I love, like there's still so much music I love, but it's we're talking about a 80 to 20% ratio
Sure,
of what I'm listening to balanced.
that's awesome. And yeah, I'll listen to death metal sometimes, and not
Right.
like Pantera. I mean, I'm talking like Job for a Cowboy,
Yeah, yeah,
Decapitated, that kind of stuff. It's
yeah, yeah.
strange,
So do a
but
lot of the drummers in our scene.
yes, yeah,
They're all like, yeah, I want to be in a heavy metal band, but this stuff kind of rocks. So
yeah, 100%. I find myself listening to it less and less and less. So I think it's just because the mood that it puts me in, and I know what goes in is what comes out. So
yeah, the mood I'm in will also depend on what I'm listening to. Like if I'm going to the gym, or if I'm having a rough day, or I'm just mad at something, like I'll probably listen to DMX or like Wu
yeah,
Tang for
right.
the rest of the day.
Yeah, that's awesome,
You
man.
gotta switch it up, and then that'll never change. And I hope it never changes. I don't want to only be like I only listen to reggae.
Right.
Because sometimes just listening to other stuff makes me like love what I'm listening to even more. Or I'm like, yeah, I really miss hip hop. Like I say, Kid Cudi is my favorite artist ever. I haven't listened to him in a month. Like what am I
Right.
doing? Those kind of conversations in my head.
Yeah, I grew up on punk, so I like a lot of the old school punk rock and
Hmm.
like Operation Ivy.
Yeah. Oh
They
yeah.
definitely have that. Bad Religion, Bad Brains, all
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely love it, man.
Yeah.
Um,
And then you like hear a song you haven't heard in so long that like used to be your favorite song, and you're like,
yeah,
holy shit,
yeah,
I
yeah,
love this song. And then I'll listen to it like until I'm tired of it.
yeah, and you start singing it, and you're like, I remember
Yeah,
all
I'm
these
like, yeah, how do I
lyrics, man.
remember?
That's
Like, I'm a
crazy.
big Little Wayne fan, so I'm like, like in 2007 through 2010 when he was just like making song after song after song, and his mixtapes were everywhere, and
Yeah.
100 songs a year or whatever. I'm like, how do I even know this many words?
Yep. You know what blows my mind is I know words to bands I never listened to. Like I can sing Backstreet Boys songs. I'm like I
Oh
never
yeah,
listened to this
yeah. Like you
at
never
all.
actually
How
listened
do
to
I
the
know
whole
this?
album, but yeah, and yeah, probably same. I'm sure there's probably a couple songs you throw on that you didn't know the words. So
Yeah,
you hear that at the mall, you hear that,
that's
at
yeah,
school or whatever. That's subconsciously put into your brain for
yep.
25 years.
Well, I wish algebra would have worked that way, but it didn't.
Yeah, yeah, right. I'm like, oh yeah, like Little Wayne couldn't teach me like in my math class. I would have paid plenty attention.
Yep, that's funny, man. It's so true, though. It's absolutely amazing. What I paid attention to when I was growing up. So, and I'm finding out now. Obviously it was the Backstreet Boys songs, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so real quick, kind of off topic. You mentioned sports. What sports do you play?
I played football and wrestling my whole life.
Nice.
Played football for a couple years in college. Wrestling like high level. From New Jersey, wrestling is crazy over here.
That's cool.
And yeah, and like I fought MMA, had like 15 MMA fights. I've
Were you like,
always done.
did you have a specific, what's the word I'm looking for? Discipline in MMA, or was it just
Well,
all?
wrestling was obviously always my
Okay.
background. I grew up boxing as well, like not in actual boxing matches, but just like training boxing and stuff like that. My dad was my wrestling coach. My dad fought, so that's kind of always been my. I have a brother. I'm 36, but I have a 16-year-old brother who's in high school now, and he's really good at wrestling. He's it's followed down the family tradition. So like that kind of background, like grew up loving UFC, like from the early UFC days.
Sure.
So it was just something that I'm like, like people are like, what are you gonna do after you can't just wrestle forever? You go to the WWF or WWE? I'm like, no, there's UFC. They're like, what's that? Like things like that.
Right.
But yeah, like boxing, wrestling was obviously my favorite. I was never the best at jiu-jitsu. A bunch of my losses came at the hands of jiu-jitsu,
Sure.
because all my wrestling was taken over, and I realized I was in the wrong positions and things like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I used to love, I used to love it. Now I can't freaking imagine getting punched in the face. But
No.
back
Yeah.
then,
I mean, yeah.
back then I was like, yeah, punch me as many times as you want. I'm punching you back.
Yeah. I took judo for a short period of time. It was cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I love
Um,
judo. Judo's cool.
yeah, it's mind blowing how it works. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
way smaller than their opponent
Oh yeah.
can literally take the other guy
Oh yeah,
completely
yeah.
down.
Ronda Rousey will take out all of us right now. She'll take a whole
Yep.
festival out just with judo throws.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. That's awesome. Well, that's definitely very cool. So, word to the wise: do not piss off the Reggae Plug, man. Keep it in the name,
No, no,
buddy.
no. I'm all peace and love now.
Nah, I
Actually, no.
hear you.
Yeah, don't piss me off.
Right. That's awesome, dude. So,
Yeah, no, it's fun. And now, like, I coached wrestling for a really long time, for 14 years, head coach of the town that I grew up in for 8 of those years. And it is the best. Like, coaching is, part of that. I was kind of like in the prime of my coaching. I haven't coached in 3 years, but like when I was starting to become the head coach, I was like kind of like just starting to listen to reggae at the same time, and like just like teaching these kids and listening to this like music. Like that was really like transformative time
sure.
of who I was. Like really like changing who I am, to become like solid man. I would hope. I
That's
hope
awesome.
my wife would agree. Uh,
Right.
but so like coaching was great. Sports is like I love sports. I mean, if music is here, sports are here. Like I don't know which one I love more sometimes, but uh, yeah, it's a huge part of my life, huge part of my family's life, my whole family.
That's very cool, man. Yeah, I don't know. I played sports here and there, but yeah, I like surfing and stuff like that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think was probably
but
my
my main love actually was skating when I was growing up. Like
yeah.
that was what I thought I would do forever. That's what I was like. This is what I'm gonna do. I started when I was 8, and I'm sorry for all the haters in the world out there, but I was a rollerblader, like inline skating,
Yeah.
like but like I would tell people laugh all you want, but I'm 20 feet in the air,
Yes.
off of a vert ramp, and
Yep.
like I was trying to be the real deal at skating. I used to go to it's a place called Camp Woodward in
Yeah. Yeah.
Pennsylvania
Yeah.
every
Woodward, definitely, man.
yeah, now there's a bunch all over the country, but like that was
Mhm.
like the one back in the day was so I used to go there every summer and like try to get my sponsorships and go to all these competitions all over my state and stuff. And then like they took they took rollerblading at the X Games in
Right.
2005, and I'm like, Mom, we got to move to China.
Yeah. There was
You
this
know,
Asian
but
kid around then who would win every single big air competition on rollerblades. I'm trying to remember his
yeah,
name.
Yasutoko, the Yasutoko brothers.
Absolutely phenomenal. I was like,
Yeah,
my
them
God,
and
man.
they had a girl Fabiola de Silva from Brazil. She was unreal, and like a lot of these skaters would go skate at Woodward while we're there too. So you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's cool.
But they
Oh
teach
yeah,
you,
man.
and they talk about our scene being humble. Like that's a humble scene as well. We
Sure.
saw like Bucky Lassick and Tony
Yeah.
Hawk and Bob Burnquist there, and they're just
Yep.
hanging out like in the cafe with everybody, and go skate with them afterwards. And yeah, obviously there's a huge crowd following them around, but like that scene very very much reminds me of the scene we're in now. That skating culture, that the reggae culture.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. There's definitely a lot of similarities. Yeah. Like I said, I grew up skating a little bit. Got to meet a lot of the pros at the Charleston hangar. So
Nice.
yeah, like you said, they're not Christian. The Fletcher brothers and all that kind of stuff. They were just really, really awesome people, man.
And so, you've always been Florida?
Born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina. Moved to
Oh,
Florida when I was 17.
mm-hmm.
Been here ever since. So
No,
um,
that's awesome.
I
So always
consider
around the
myself
surf culture.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. My entire life.
Nice, nice, nice.
So yeah, love it, but don't do it anymore. But I loved it. But yeah, still
Hmm.
the
Yeah, I don't see it. I can put on rollerblades and go skate around any day, but catching me on a half pipe probably.
yeah, right. Yeah, you don't need to break
I
an
say
arm
probably
probably.
because you never know. I'll go slow.
Well, it's when you get to our age, it's that one dumb move. Like let me give it
Yeah,
a
right.
shot.
And
And then you're
then
screwed forever.
yeah. She'll my wife will laugh at me for getting out of bed wrong, like being like, "Oh, my back."
Yep. Yeah, I'm not active at all, and I'm complaining about my back hurting. So, um, so what's the do you have like an ultimate goal for the reggae plug? Like where you see it going in the next few years? You just kind of like free forming it.
Free forming it for sure. Just I just wanted to just keep organically growing.
Hmm.
Just keep getting these connections. Obviously, I would love to do media, at the bigger festivals and stuff. But I also got to learn how to do some things better. Better videography, better this, but take better photos. Just got the camera so that I can start taking real nice photos and stuff like that.
Nice.
Just starting to replace a little of the fake it till you make it to I don't need to make it, but a little to I know what I'm doing. Things like that. So just kind of growing as I don't know, I hate content creator, but
Well, I mean,
you
kind of.
know,
Yeah.
as someone who's yeah, but this content we're making, it's not content. There's bullshit content out there, but the content I'm making, the content you're making, the content all these other pages like the reggae theories and the ones that we're talking
Hmm.
about that we like a lot, they're benefiting people. They're benefiting the fans that are listening. They're benefiting the bands that are trying to get their stuff heard, trying to get things out there. I don't think there is such thing as too many.
No.
I think obviously there's, you can't have a million photographers in the pit, but like, I like when I see a whole bunch because it's different angles that you weren't getting, and that's for the bands. Like everything we're doing is for these bands, for these artists, and that's why I love making a reel. Like last night I went to see Badfish and and Grateful Dub last night,
Nice.
and it was a great show. And like I love making a reel because like that's just like, hey, that's the show through my eyes, And not everybody gets to go to every show, or never seen a certain band, or didn't even know about these bands, or didn't know how much they fucking rock when they're there. So you're like, I like to emphasize like my reels are like show the show, like show what it's like to be there. And if I could just keep getting that better, keep growing that, organically, authentically.
Yep.
That's my only goal. I don't have, would I like it to make a couple bucks for me? Sure. But it also gives me some cool experiences that I'd trade, for a couple bucks. I'd definitely trade that. But we'll see. Maybe some merch, maybe a podcast, definitely stuff on YouTube for sure.
Yep.
But as far as a plan, a real plan, I don't know. I have ideas every day, but a plan, whatever anyone will let me do.
Yeah. I think
I'll never stop. I'll tell you that.
Right now, yeah.
My wheels are always turning, and I dream huge.
Yes.
So,
I hear you. Yep.
whatever is out there and available to me, I'll figure it out.
That's awesome, man. I was on Talking Reggae with Jay a couple weeks ago, and he asked me the question: would you, if you had to pick one, would it be live performances, playing percussion, or doing the podcast thing? I've been playing music my whole life, but I literally thought about it, and it would definitely be doing the podcast thing. There's something about it. I don't have to limit it to just interviews. You know what I mean? I got a lot of different stuff that's going to be coming out on this podcast. Like I said, I like to write. So
and you told me about a couple of the organizations you're working with and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah. We have a nonprofit, and I started the initiative.
I don't know if like you talk about that on here, or I don't know if anything's not announced. I don't want to be the one to say something.
No. It's totally cool. Yeah. It's just all goes back to supporting the musicians. You know what I mean, and the community that I love so much. You know what I mean? So it's I find myself, if I do something that's like not reggae related, somehow it always goes back to reggae.
Yeah. I feel that on a deep level.
So I love that. That's a good thing. I like it a lot. So and then working with guys like you, bands collaborate all the time. Well, people that do different kinds of media, in my opinion, should collaborate.
Yeah, for sure. And a couple of times that I've had that with other media pages or a label or something like that, I'm like, it makes me happy because it's extra eyes. Like the people that maybe follow me that don't follow the other one now are seeing it, and vice versa.
Yes.
It's like it's beneficial. I think more people, I'm always down for the collab if it makes sense. You want to put two things that have nothing to do with each other and just collab posts for no reason. But like if you have the same vision and you're working on the same kind of thing, like you should be collabing.
I totally agree. I have a pretty cool collab starting next month. It's going to be the first Monday of every single month, called Cultivated Mondays. I partnered with the.
I wonder who.
Cultivated Mind, baby.
Yeah, there you go. That's like I told you, my ears to the ground. No.
Yeah, they are the epitome of this podcast. You know what I mean? They represent everything that that I stand for.
Yeah, I only seen them once or twice, and what a show! Like it was like we were blown away.
Absolutely.
It was with Chopadelic and the Movement. Yeah, Chopadelic and the Movement at the Stone Pony in New Jersey.
That's nice.
And I was like, we always go first. Like we're not the get there for the headliner or the last two kind of like we're there early, we're there before doors.
I'm not way too buddy.
Because also we're meeting our we're seeing some friends that I only see like maybe once every couple months or whatever. So we only get time to spend with them. So we got there, saw that whole set, and we're like, holy crap! Like we were blown away. All of us were blown away. It was a group of like 10 of us.
Yeah, Tony is he's a beast. He's very humble. You know what I mean? But yeah, he crushed it. TC is amazing. They're just so awesome, dude. From their lyrics to the music to the way they carry themselves. Personally, they're just absolutely fantastic people, man. So it's
that was a really fun time. That was a good show. Those three, holy crap, that was a good show.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, love shows like that, you know, and that'll stick with you forever, man.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's an absolutely beautiful thing. Um, so, uh, kind of real quick, somebody new to reggae, who kind of locates the Reggae Plug, they see what you're doing, and they hit
Hmm.
you up, and they're like, you know, where do I start? What would be three artists or albums that you tell them to listen to? And I bet I can guess two that you're gonna say.
Do you want to guess the two first, or do you want me to say?
The Elevators and the Movement.
The Elevators would definitely be one.
Okay.
And it's also like who's asking? Are you a country fan? Because then
Right.
that Elevators are definitely going to be one. I don't consider the Elevators country, but all my friends who don't listen to anything that I listen to,
Right.
that listen to the Elevators, are always like, "What is this?" or "Who's that?" or "Can you play that more of that?" Or
Yeah, that's
they'll
cool.
send me their like Spotify, like, "Look what I've been listening to recently." The Elevators. It's because Jackson's voice is just
Yes.
incredible, amazing. Like there's no words for it, and it goes with everything. He could be singing to stadiums and country music right now, but we're lucky enough to have him,
Sure.
playing at our shows.
That's awesome.
And so I would definitely say them. If it was hip hop fans, I would definitely start them with Dirty Heads, Chopadelic, Little Strangers,
Sure.
that kind of thing. Um, but I mean, let's go Elevators, let's go Dirty Heads, and let's go. Damn, this is tough. And let's go. Yeah, I mean, let's go with the movement. Wow, you got it right.
That's
You
awesome,
know,
man.
just because it's a mix of enough, and it's just like the messages, and yes, there are three huge bands with a huge catalog, a big enough catalog where, you want them to. If we're talking about getting fans in here, we've said these names a lot. All the other bands, especially ones that I have good relationships with, I love you.
Right.
I'm not trying to just like only hype a couple up here. Like Cashed Out is every time I say someone's my favorite band, I'll always be like, wait, no, it's not. Cashed Out's my favorite band.
Right.
Like I'll always do that. I love Trap, love Ballyhoo, love Bumpin' Uglies. Um, yeah, that's a hard question. Maybe the hardest question that we've had
Yeah.
tonight. Where do you start them? I just like here. No, you know where I start them. I give them the plug list, which is on Spotify. You can click
Yep.
it at the
Yep.
link in my bio. No.
Yeah. No.
And then
No.
just
No.
listen
No.
to every
Yeah.
song
Definitely
on
plug it,
there.
man.
You'll get Article Sound System to everybody.
Yeah. I love Article Sound System. I like their
Oh,
merch.
so much.
I love Ass. It's so funny, man.
Yeah, I love Ass.
Their
Who
shirts.
doesn't
Yeah,
love
they're great.
Ass?
Yep. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
great live too.
They're
I
getting
think
the
they got
shirts
the shirts.
back. This is a shameless plug. I got nothing to do with them. Go hit up their merch store. Get the I Love Ash shirt because
Yeah.
it's my favorite thing to do is film it at a show. Like
Yeah.
when I get it in my reel, if
Yeah.
I see an I Love Ash shirt, it's going on the reel like every
Yeah.
time. So,
That's
so
clever too.
yeah,
I mean, we're talking about it, so they
Logan's
did something
great.
right.
The whole crew is great. So go make sure they sell out that shirt again.
That's very cool, man. Right on. Yep. Yeah. You absolutely got to love it. And they're just fantastic to see live too. Yeah. I love it. Her voice
Yeah.
is
Oh, unreal,
stellar, man.
unreal. It's a force. She's a force.
Are you? I know you. Well, obviously, you like the female vocals.
Mm.
There's a reggae artist out of the UK called Holly Cook. Definitely check her out.
Okay.
HOLLIE. Absolutely blow your mind. Sounds vintage, but it's new. It's
Nice. Oh, I love that. I love like an old soul sounding,
yes,
but you're listening to some brand new mastered stuff.
absolutely incredible, man. Very, very, very good stuff. And I could sit here with you until midnight and just talk about bands, you know what I mean, and go back and forth and banter. But so what message do you hope that people listening to reggae music take away from reggae music and from your page? Do you have kind of like a message that you're trying to push?
I'm not trying to push and never even thought about this till right now, but I would just say like be good to others.
Amen.
Like I try to do that all the time. Like my wife will call me the golden retriever. Like because I'm always trying to like make everybody happy and have a good time and not worry about the bullshit and things like that. But yeah, like be good to everybody. Like it's not hard. Yeah, we all have bad days, but like don't take that out on anybody. We all mess up. I'll catch myself, taking something out on somebody I shouldn't, whether work, home, anything. I'm like, "Hey, what am I doing? Pump the brakes.
Yep.
Be good. Chill out. And the core of the music we listen to is the messages everywhere. The messages in every song. You'll find it. It's all over. So just do stuff with integrity. That was huge for me. I was in the army. Integrity is huge for me. So It's like things like that. Do good, treat people right, have fun. Like have fun. Like, we're not gonna be here a long time in the scheme of things. So
Amen.
just have fun.
I love that, dude. Those are great words, man. 100%. I can subscribe to all of them. So
Yeah, I feel you're the same way. I feel like we're pretty similar when it comes to a bunch of things. So
oh yeah,
cool. And
100%.
I'm really happy you had me on here, and it's cool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and I cannot wait to
new friends in the scene, and I'll be
talk
looking
to
forward
you.
to the next time I get to see you in person. Well, actually, I've never seen you in person, so be looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I'm serious about co-hosting a podcast with me. You know what I mean? I love doing all that kind of stuff, man. It's fun.
Yeah.
The collabs are great, man. On any level.
Hmm.
So where can other than IG, if people want to contact you, or is there anywhere else on the World Wide Web that you're located, or?
Yeah, my email's at the Reggae Plug.
Okay.
I mean, I just that was like a muscle memory thing. It's definitely not at. Don't put the at sign.
Right.
My email is just the Reggae Plug at gmail.com.
Cool.
And on Instagram is the easiest. I'm always on there. I check, the messages that get pushed to the spam or whatever also too, because I've seen some that I learned early in the beginning. Like, holy crap, there's a whole another folder of messages that I didn't know about.
Right.
People think I'm ignoring them. So yeah, and you need anything promoted. You want to talk about anything? You want to. Correct me on something online. Hey, feel free. Send it over there. Send me a DM. Shoot me an email. I love helping the bands out. I love helping anybody out, just because it's why this whole thing started. And it'll never change.
That's amazing, man. Well, K-Bong had it right when he hit you up.
Yeah, thank you, K-Bong.
You are doing something awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. I love your energy, love your vibe. It's always great when you get to talk to somebody. I kind of consider this face to face.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
thank you so much. Like I said, thank you so much for having me
Okay.
on, man. And you got to keep doing this. You're great at this. You should be doing this.
I love it.
Yeah, and that's why you're good at it. That's why I think I'm good at doing the page and things like that. Like, I love it. It's not like no one's forcing me to do anything. I don't get paid for this,
100%.
So it's out of the love of the game.
Yep, absolutely, man. Beautiful, and that's when beautiful things happen. You know what I mean? It's just
Yes, sir.
you're doing what you love. It's not considered work.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much, man, for taking time out of your night to come on. This is definitely not the first time that I'm going to have you on.
No, it is the first time. It's not the last.
No, but definitely not the last time. Wow. Yeah. Thank you.
I'll be back on. Obviously, we don't want to put them too close together, but I'll definitely be on.
Absolutely, 100%, man. So
That's cool. And I hope I'm down to help you find the right people to get on here too. Because there's a bunch of people that I know that would love to talk to you.
That would be fantastic. I would love to talk to them, man. Very cool, man. Yeah,
sure.
I definitely appreciate that, and I keep them coming, dude. That's absolutely fantastic. So, now there's strength in unity. Build your community. You can follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, Hippie-Fari. Shoot me an email, Hippie-Fari, hippiefarirareggae@gmail.com, and check out my website, hippie-fari.podbean.com. Now, this is Scotty the High-Strong Hippie, reminding you to speak your mind before somebody else does it for you. Now, do something nice for somebody today. Grab flowers for your partner. Smoke out a stranger. Slip the homeless man a buck. But whatever you do, do it from the heart, because all good things start from the heart. So peace, love, and roster rhythms are all a part of that reggae revolution. One love, fam.